Hey Ron, I just thought I would just show you a couple of things about, or give you a couple thoughts about this rectangle reader thing. So um, if I can get into it here. Okay, it looks good. There's really not too many comments. One thing I was thinking, this active file maybe gets lost a little bit, and so maybe move that up to the right of the open file. Then that way you can see that you don't have an active file. So maybe active file, and then the file name once you open it would be next to the open file button. Would maybe make sense, and so then it's maybe a little bit more visible, and it allows you to compress the form a little bit. As far as this goes, I think this is cool. I like the wider combo box here. Apply, exit, all of that makes sense to me. Toolpath, nest makes sense. So I haven't tried it without clicking either one of those, so I'm assuming that it does something logical in that case. The thickness thing still baffles me a little bit. The question is, what are you going to do with it once you use it? Are you going to adjust the depth of the strategy to that depth, and then are you going to worry about nesting if these change from part to part? Or are you going to nest them on separate sheets, or what's the plan? It almost seems to me like getting rid of thickness makes the most sense, as far as it's not really meaningful. You've got a height and a width and a quantity, and whatever your plate thickness is, or whatever your strategy depth is sort of going to define that in this case. So it's kind of the question of how far down that slope do you go, as far as kind of auto TP like. The word quantity is misspelled, Quantity. So we need to double check that. I think there's a couple extra I's in there, or one extra I, and then the N and the A are backwards. So we need to fix that. One thing, you said you made it so that it doesn't recognize letters, so it will let me enter that. It just won't let me do anything until I correct that. So I can't exit out of that until I hit escape to get out of that, and then it brings that number back in the width column. If I do that and I hit tab, then it brings up an error dialog. It's not catching the width column, it's catching the other ones apparently. And then I have to hit escape to get out of it. So that's something that we want to maybe think about in route. The way I do it, if for example, if I get into here and I add a tool to this grid, and then I come in here, I want to add a depth. If I type text, which I'm doing right now, it doesn't respond. So it's designed so that it doesn't respond until I hit numbers, and then anytime I hit anything other than numbers or decimal point, it's not going to respond to it, and so it doesn't allow me to kind of get into that mode where I've got text entered in there and it's not legal, and it's kind of an issue at that point. So in this case, what I would really like it to do is fine if it lets me enter that in there, but if I hit tab, it should then tab down to the next cell, and then just return this value to what it was before. Sort of the same thing it does when I hit escape. And so anyway, those are comments. The gray here still may be an issue. I see that I can change the width of columns, which I think is fine. I might disable it so that I can't do that accidentally when I'm clicking in a cell, that I can't accidentally change the height of a row, and that's pretty easy to just not allow them to do that. Other than that, I don't think I have any comments, and hopefully that helps.